Hey everyone, this is Russell Brunson. Welcome back to week number 2 of the One Funnel Away Challenge. Now this week we're going to be talking about hooks and stories. And this is your very first mission, should you choose to accept it. We're going to be talking about publishing and testing your material. Now, hopefully you've been following along and doing all the exercises as we go. If so, last week we were talking all about your offer. We talked about hook, story, offer, but we went really deep into figuring out what your offer is going to be and how to structure an offer and all those kind of things. So hopefully you've done those assignments. If not, it's time to go back and do them because everything this week's gonna be building off of what we talked about last week. And so it's very important that you're following everything in order as we're doing it. And so this is what I'm really excited for, mostly because it's something that I've been doing a lot over the last, like 15 years of my life. And I didn't realize I was doing this or even understand the concept until a couple weeks ago. I was actually at this, I don't know if it's called a men's retreat. A bunch of internet marketing dudes who typically are talking marketing all day long, and they invited us to this thing where we had a chance to go out and like fish and like hunt and do all these like manly things I'm not used to doing. And we had a good time. One night we were hanging out by the campfire. And while we were at the campfire, Dean Graciosi was sitting there and we were talking, and he shared this thing that like made the light bulbs go off my head, and something I want to share with you guys because it's such a key fundamental thing, okay? And so again, last week we talked about hook, story, offer, right? So now we're going into like, what are the stories about your offer and how do you perfect those stories and what are the hooks you're putting out there? And so the concept that Dean kind of explained to me, I want to kind of draw this out for you guys here. So we're calling this one publishing. You guys are going to start publishing this week and call this testing your material. Okay, so that's what the focus is. So what Dean said basically said, if you look at a professional comedian, right? And a lot of times we see the comedian and they're on the big stage up here, all right, big stage, and they got the microphone here. So there's the microphone, and here's the comedian out there. And they're telling their jokes, right, on the big stage. And you see them in every single joke that they say, like nails it, they land it, everyone's laughing, it's just like thing after thing. And that's what we see, right? You just see these people on the big stage and you see, man, this person's a hilarious comedian. But what you don't understand is what happened to get them on the big stage, right? They didn't just show up on the big stage one day. And this is the same for all of us, right? Like me, like some of you guys look at Russell like, man, how in the world does he do that? Like, he's just so good. And it's like, are you kidding me? If you were to see me 15 years ago, I was so awkward and nervous, I didn't even dare look directly at the camera. I watched my old videos. This is like right when YouTube first came out. And I'd be like, hey everybody, this is Russell. I talked really quiet and awkward and nervous and like I was freaked out, right? And so what's happened over the last 15 years, the same thing that happened for this comic, right? So what happened is this comedian wanted to go and like be on the big stage. So what he did is he found these little tiny like dive bars, right? He went to the first dive bar, he got a microphone, he stood up on stage, and he started doing his bit, and he'd tell like 10 jokes, right? And from the 10 jokes, like 2 of them would land, and the other 8 would just completely bomb. And he's like, oh, okay, I know these 2 jokes are awesome. So he would take the 20%, the 2 jokes that were awesome, then he'd book the next bar, right? Go to the next bar, get on stage, and he's like, okay, I'm doing my thing, and he'd tell those 2 jokes, because he knew those ones like nailed it, everyone laughed at it, and he said, okay, I'm gonna like, the next 8 jokes, I'm gonna try new ones. So he tried new jokes, and at the next jokes, like, he tried 8 new jokes, and like one of those 8 like just nailed it, and the other ones were like, kind of weak. So now he's got that. So now he's at like 30% of a presentation. Then he booked the next bar, right? He goes out there, does the next one, and he's going to test his material again, goes out there, does the 3 jokes, he knows they're going to land it, and then he adds in a bunch more, and for that he gets 2 more that work, right? Now he's at 50%, then he does it again, and then eventually 60% and 70%, till eventually like he knows these 10 jokes all just crush it when he does it. And now he gets invited to the big stage, stands up there, does his presentation, and people are like, that guy is the funniest person in the world, okay? But what you don't see is all the stuff behind where you're testing your material. Okay? And so some of you guys wondering, Russell, how in the world are you able to get on stage and just like start teaching or do Facebook Live and you're just talking or do a blog post and you're able just to write and just go? And the reason why is I spent the last decade of my life practicing my material. I'm testing my material, okay? And I'm always doing this all the time. In fact, what's funny is this is like probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was with Dean and when he was telling this story of this concept, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's huge. Next morning, I did a podcast. Some of you may have heard that podcast episode, and I explained this thing on the podcast, and everyone told me, like, oh, that's amazing, and they got it. And then the next 2 days later, I was speaking at an event, and I told that story again, and like I told it better the next time, and it made even more sense. And this is probably the 6th or 7th time I've told this story right here alone, right? How many of you guys think I just nailed it? You're like, man, how does Russell pull this stuff out of his head? It's because I've been testing this material over the last 2 or 3 weeks to make sure it's going to work. Okay, I'm in the process right now of writing my 3rd book, Traffic Secrets, right now. You think I just stand out in front of a blank piece of paper and start writing? No, I have to test my material, right? So I'm doing Facebook Lives, teaching stuff and seeing if people, if it makes sense to them. And I'm like, oh, people got confused here. This one just didn't feel quite right or whatever it is. And then Last week I did an event. I spoke at Dana's Dream 100 Con, and I taught the outline for the Traffic Secrets book. And I taught it, and I was able to fill the feedback from the audience and see what people resonated with, what things they were excited for, which ones they didn't like, and I'm tweaking it. And then I'm doing another event here in like a month and a half. I'm teaching over 2 days, and then I'll do it again. And I'll keep teaching the material. I'm testing out my material a bunch of times before I sit down and actually write the book. That way I know all the stories, I know the things, I make sure they make logical sense, but I've tested it a whole bunch of times. And so for a lot of you guys, the problem is that you want to go out there and you want to do your thing and sell your product and sell your service. And you're getting on the big stage, you're like, oh, and you get all nervous, and then it just bombs. You have to understand, like any expert, any master, they don't start on the big stage. They start down here in the dive bars, testing their material, testing their material, testing their material. Okay? So for you guys, I'm going to tell you something that's not going to be super popular for some of you guys. And you're like, I don't want to do it. In fact, it makes me laugh. The very first funnel hacking live that Stephen Larson came to, I'm sure he'll tell you this story as well, became the very first funnel hacking live. And on stage, I told everyone, I said, you have to start publishing. Every single day, you need to be publishing something. He was like, no, I don't want to do it. I refuse to do it. And he's like fighting it. And finally, he was like, all right, I'm going to go and do it. And so he went out there and he started his podcast, and he started episode after episode after episode after episode, and doing more and more and more till eventually he started finding his voice and finding his stories and which things resonate with people and which things didn't resonate with people, right? And so that was kind of the process that he went through. I did the same thing when I launched my podcast. It used to be called the Marketing in Your Car podcast. I would literally get my phone every day as I'm driving to the office. And if you know the backstory, that I started the podcast like at the brink of bankruptcy. My whole company, I had 100 employees, the whole thing had collapsed. I let off like 80 people, I had a fire in like a day, and I was like all miserable, and I was like, oh, I had to figure out the next step in my life. And of course, the most depressing, miserable time in your life is you're like, I should start a podcast, sharing people my success stories. And so I started a podcast, and every single day I started telling my stories and like what was happening, what was I working on, what was working, what wasn't working. I just shared my experiences with people, right? And I shared those experiences, and now, fast forward now 500 episodes later, 600 episodes later, whatever I've done, you've seen that like I'm using that platform to test my material over and over and over and over and over again, right? In fact, it was funny when Stephen used to work here in the office. He told me, he's like, yeah, I started binge listening to the podcast. I started the very episode 1 and started going through. He's like, the first like 42 episodes or so, like, yeah, it was okay. And after that, it's like when you caught on fire and everything started like you came alive. And what's funny about it is like most people never get to episode 42, right? You do 10 or 15 or 20 and you just never get good, and so the whole thing falls by the wayside. And what I need you guys doing during this process, during this One Funnel Away challenge, is you have to start learning your voice and mastering it and doing it over and over and over and over and over again, because I need to get you guys to episode 42. Okay? You can't just start on the big stage or you're going to struggle. Okay? This is the process. If you're trying to take over the world, to change the world, to change people's lives, to like master your voice, all these things, like to get on the big stage, you have to test your material over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? And so a couple things. Now, one thing, like when you start testing your material, this is the good news, is at first you're gonna be like, oh, nobody's listening. And that's good, because at first you're gonna suck. You were not gonna be good at it. And so the fact that nobody subscribed to your podcast or reading your blog or watching your Facebook Lives is a good thing, because it gives you a chance to start learning your voice. It's not about them. Okay, it's about you finding your voice. Eventually, it'll be about your audience. As you become better at this, as you're testing your material, as you start finding your voice, your people will come to you. Okay, they will become attracted to you, and things will start growing organically. But at first, you're not going to be good. And I have to get that through your head, and you have to be okay, saying, okay, I'm going to publish. Russell said, I'm going to start publishing. I'm going to start doing it every single day and just do it and do it and do it. And it's going to be uncomfortable at first. I'm going to be bad at it at first, but I'm going to stick with it, because I know that by episode 42 or 43, that's when I'm going to become a master. And at that point, the people will come. Okay? And so that's kind of my call to you for today, is we have to get you to start publishing. So everyone who's listening to this right now, everyone's got different things they're going to be good at. Okay, so as you're listening to this, I'm guessing you're one of 3 people. Okay, how many of you guys who are listening, guys and gals who are listening right now, think, man, I love to write. I would love to sit down and just write every day. I'm a writer. Okay, how many of you guys are writers? So if you're a writer, T-E-R, if you are a writer, then you are going to become a blogger. That's how you're going to share your voice. Okay, if that's what you're most comfortable in, you're going to become a writer. Okay, I know some people don't feel comfortable on video, some people don't feel comfortable on audio. Some of you guys I just like to write. You're a writer, so you're going to start a blog. And the place you're going to start your blog, you're going to go over to medium.com. You can't see my handwriting, but it says medium.com. Because medium.com, you can create a free account, you can start blogging on a huge platform with tons of traffic already built into it. And as you start finding your voice, the traffic just inside of Medium will start growing. So start blogging on Medium daily, every single day. And over the next 2 or 3 days, I'm going to give you guys exactly what the very first post is going to be and what the second post and those kind of things. So don't stress out about it. Just know medium.com. is where you're going to blog, okay? And some of you guys are like, well, should I do WordPress, Russell? Should I do my own blog, blah, blah, blah. All those things are complicated and frustrating and hard to figure out and not necessary for you to be successful. In fact, you will have more success publishing on Medium.com than you will on your own, because on your own, you're on this platform by yourself and there's no eyeballs there. On Medium, you're tapping into this huge platform of thousands and millions of other readers already. And if you start finding your voice and start becoming good, you will organically grow very, very quickly. In fact, I've got a friend who right now is the #1 Medium writer right now. And every time he writes a post, he gets 5,000 new opt-ins to his list. Like, that's the power of the platform after you start learning your voice and finding it, okay? So if you are a writer, you're gonna become a daily blogger. And just know from now until a year from now, when I tell you you can stop, you're gonna be publishing every single day. In fact, I would set a goal. All the guys are now saying, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna test my material, I'm gonna master my voice, and I'm gonna do this every single day for the next 365 days, okay? And some of you guys are like, Russell, that's a long time. And I understand it's a long time. Okay? It takes a long time to become a master at anything, and I need you guys to be on the big stage. If you really want to have the impact you want long term, you've got to get good on the big stage, okay? And so you have to do it consistently for a year. Now, if you do this consistently for a year, and a year from now, all of your money problems will be gone, okay? I promise you that. If you do this consistently every single day for a year, in a year from now, all of your problems will disappear, okay? You will have people, first off, you will find your voice, okay? Number one, you're going to find your voice, which is huge. Number two, your audience will find you. And number three, you're gonna have the impact and income that you want, that you desire, okay? But it all comes off of this, the consistency of this, of testing out your material, okay? All right, so 365 days. Number one, so if you're a writer, you're gonna become a blogger and you're gonna blog on Medium.com. Number two, how many guys are like, I hate writing, Russell, I would rather die, but give me my phone and I can talk into it, I can get all excited. Okay, if that's you, then you gotta pick a platform, either picking Facebook or you're gonna be picking Instagram. I don't care which one you want. Both platforms are awesome, both have pros and cons, but you're either gonna pick Facebook and you do Facebook Lives. Excuse me, I'm not writing Facebook here, I'm writing video. For most of you guys, I'm gonna say Facebook, so I'm trying Facebook Live here. But some of you guys who love Instagram, you can go live there as well. That's number two. And so that's for our people who like to be on video. And then number three is our audio friends. How many of you guys like the audio out there? You could like put up a microphone and just talk forever. You can interview people you feel comfortable like in a podcast format. Okay, if you're in audio, you're launching a podcast. What I recommend using for podcasts is an app called Anchor.fm. Super easy app where basically you pick up your phone or your iPad, you record it, you can edit it, you can upload it. It's like the simplest, easiest way to launch a podcast in the planet. And so those are the three things, okay? So this is what your assignment is for today, my friends, is to figure out, are you gonna be a writer? Are you gonna be doing videos or are you gonna be doing audios? I don't care which platform you pick. It does not matter to me. Whatever one you feel the most comfortable with, you say, I could be consistent with this over the next 365 days, okay? This is your 365-day challenge inside the One Funnel Way challenge. If you do this every day for 365 days, you will find your voice, number one. Number two, your audience will find you. Number three, you start having the impact and making income that you really desire in life. So you gotta commit to this. So you're gonna be committing to me for the next year of your life to pick one of these and be consistent on it. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to write like a 10,000 word article every single day. You can write a 1,000 word article. You can wake up and just write for 30 minutes and post it, like whatever it is, but you need to get the consistency of publishing, okay? And for some of you guys, it's gonna be awkward, and you're gonna be nervous, you're not gonna like it, and that's okay. Okay? Sometimes if you want to change the world and have a huge impact on this world, you have to feel a little uncomfortable for a few minutes. When I first got started, like I told you, I was the most awkward, shy, nervous person ever. I was a horrible writer, got C's in all my English classes, yet now I've written 2.5 books, plus this book, plus about 1 billion other things I've written, right? Because I just did it a lot of times, so I figured it out. Okay, video, I didn't even dare look in the camera right now. And now I can go jump on video like this with, just mapping things out. I can talk for 4 or 5 hours and feel super comfortable, okay? Because I've done it so many times. Same with audio. I've done so many episodes of my podcast and I feel comfortable. Now you don't have to do all three like I did, just pick one. Okay, pick one of them and you're gonna become a master for the next 12 months of your life. In the next 365 days, you're gonna be doing this and publishing over and over and over again, okay? So that's kind of the game plan. Now, what you gotta do tonight is just pick which one it is and then create an account. So if you're gonna be a writer, go to medium.com, create your account, and that's all you gotta do for tonight. If you're gonna be doing audio, go to anchor.fm, get the app, get everything installed, get your account created, and that's all you need right now. If you're gonna be going Facebook Live, make sure you have a fan page set up in Facebook, set up your fan page, and that's all you gotta do. So you get the account set up. And then tomorrow, we're gonna start going into how to tell your stories, how to do the hooks, and we're gonna start moving through the next steps of the process, how to tell your origin story, which is gonna be your very first thing you publish on whatever platform you pick, and a bunch of other cool things. But that's the game plan for right now. Go and do your homework, commit to me for the next 365 days. If you do this, you will change your life, but more importantly, you'll change the lives of the people you're serving, but you gotta be consistent for a year. If you can do that, I promise you, everything will change in your business, everything will change in your life, and you're gonna love it. So that's it for today, you guys. Hope you enjoy this. Go and set up your accounts, and I will see you guys tomorrow.